Hey YouTube! Ran into some difficulties. Well, I always do a final test of every single machine. What I do is I run it for about 3 hours and see what goes on and make sure everything works. Well, to my surprise, the machine started to get the fan, which is here, this thing here, it spins, started going faster and faster and faster, and I couldn't understand what's going on. To the point that while I was 30 minutes into a movie, upconverting DVDs to high def, I feeling the back of the machine and it's blowing out cold air. I'm like, what the fuck? Couldn't understand it. Well, I took apart the thing and I determined something here. As you could see, the thermal paste wasn't touching. It wasn't creating a seal with the heat sinks here. As you can see, wasn't creating it. And here are the processors that I did earlier. As you can see, the little blotch areas in the corners was the areas that was actually touching. The rest of it wasn't touching the motherboard at all, indicating that my thermal paste job was too thin for this particular machine. I almost fried these processors here, and I'm man enough to admit that I almost did that. So we're going to have to fix this. So what I'm going to do is remove this thermal paste, because remember, you never reuse the same thermal paste. We're going to remove this whole thermal paste and everything. I'm going to be taking off this entire metal shielding so I can get closer to these things with my card instead of having trouble with the edge points. And as you can see here again, the thermal paste only touched in 1, 2, and 3, and only touched on the bare edges here. So this machine was pretty much killing itself, and that was my fault. So disregard the original way I did the thermal paste job, and I'm going to show you the real way to do it. Because when you're doing a laptop or something, the heat sinks, you're bolting it on top. Because of this design, I couldn't see how it works, because you actually have to bolt it on after putting the motherboard in. On a regular computer, you actually have the processor, and you actually bolt that in there. So we're gonna fix this, and I'm gonna make sure that this never happens again, and that I'm doing this for free for my customer. So thank you, YouTube, and I'll let you know what goes on. Hey, YouTube. Well, it was imminent. It was about to happen to my coworker's PS3. I just say that this is one of the most annoying things that happens, but we got yellow light of death. The ball grid arrays are in fact screwed up on this machine. After doing a complete dissection and everything, sure enough, it's just going to do this. So, yeah, it can be fixed. I need a heat gun. I currently don't have one. So, yeah, this is really getting annoying. So, thank you. Hey, YouTube. This machine is possessed. Why do I say this? Because look at it. Hold on a second, I'm only holding this to reset the settings. The PlayStation 3 works. And you'll see on the screen here. It works. The same PlayStation 3 that you just saw with the yellow light of death works. Now, the reason why I say it's possessed, I went out and got myself a heat gun. I got myself a heat gun so I can reflow the chips on here. I never got to fire that thing up. I go, and I have this thing in pieces. It has the same thing when you saw the yellow light of death. I bring it to show my father, to show him that, oh, look at my luck. I turn it on, and it works. I turn it on and the frickin' thing works, and it's working right now. It's the same account, everything. The machine still reads discs. I mean, I could just pop in a movie. Not going to tell you what it is, but I just stuck in a disc, and it reads. The machine runs extremely quiet now. It no longer gets, it never overheats. It runs the movies. This movie here, it's not out yet. But it runs the movies. I mean, this machine plays. Again, I'm not telling you what movie it is. But I just can't believe that this machine's running. So thank you, YouTube. This is the entire saga of a typical repair that I have to deal with, where machines are possessed and crap. But also, yeah, if you want to know what I do use Black & Decker Heat Pro Deluxe 2. It's mostly for carpeting and stuff, but you can also use it for reflowing the circuitry on your PlayStation 3. So, any questions about my entire saga here, and I will make response videos as such. So thank you, YouTube, for joining me, taking a machine that was overheating, couldn't read discs, ends up frying itself because I didn't put enough thermal paste, ends up getting a yellow light of death, waiting 2 hours later to show proof to someone else that it has a yellow light of death. It springs back to frickin' life, and it works. And now it blows out extremely hot air out of the back, which indicates that the thermal paste is now working. So thank you, YouTube, again.